contestant. Let's go!
Yeah, you heard it here, guys. We're doing pendulums once again. Pendulums decided to merge with Endymion with Zefra to create just another amount of negates. So let's get into it, guys. We have got 3 copies of Just Gone Through It, 3 easy special summons. It is not limited, not restricted on the special summon. The only thing is you can't control 2 of these per, on the field at the same time. So you just literally, if you have all 3 in your hand, you can just make Celine and Crawley and just off of conflict alone. Just by going to Relinquish Anima, going to Crawley, then going to Celine. Easy summon, easy boys. We've got 3 copies of Souls. Souls is absolutely mandatory for the deck because you get to special, you get to pitch Endymion or Jackal, special summon it. You get any dead spell or traps that you've already used, like some of them are restricted once per turn. Pitch them, get into the graveyard, draw more cards, and get more counters for Celine. Prophecy, we've got Spellbook of Prophecy because we get to add Spellbook of Secrets and Spellbook of Knowledge to our hand with Prophecy, or guaranteed to get 2 spells into the graveyard. There's 2 spell counters on like Servant of Endymion or Magical Abductor, and 2 counters for Celine. All drawing out more cards. Absolutely fantastic card. Onto the Pendulum, guys. We've got 3 copies of the Mighty Master. Mighty Master is basically Spell Trap Negate. You can return 1 card on the field that has a spell counter. When your opponent activates a spell or trap, return it back to your hand. Really great. And also, if that and also that monster that had a spell counter, those spell counters don't go to waste. They get added to Endymion, so they will always be up hand. And I would like to highly point out, if this guy goes to the graveyard while he has a counter, you get to add a normal spell from your deck to your hand, which is really great. So you can search out like Instant Fusion or stuff like that. His Pendulum ability is if you remove 6 spell counters from the field, you can special summon this bad boy from the Pendulum scale. So you can do all your Pendulum zones and do like summons and all that stuff, searching out negates, putting up powerful combos, then just going to Celine, get rid of 6 counters on Celine, summon this bad boy, and then you get to destroy cards on the field up to the many of cards you control that have a spell counter. So if you have like 4 cards that have spell counters, yep, you're popping 4 cards. So yep, the Mighty Master, absolutely mandatory. I'm running Harmonizing Magician simply because we are running like Pen Core and Duelist Alliance. She's absolutely great to go into Borrowed Savage Dragon, which is again an Omnigate because Harmonizing Magician, pumping Pen Summon from the hand, can special summon another Magician monster from the deck, being Purple Poison and Harmonizing. So you will always be able to go into either like Crawley, go into Celine, or even go to Borrowed Savage. Absolutely great. 3 copies of Magical Abductor. She basically has 2 effects. A monster and Pendulum Summon are kind of the same, effect. So each time spell counter or a spell card is activated, she gets a spell counter. You remove 3 spell counters from Magical Abductor. You can add a level 1 spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand, which means Souls and Conflict. Or her Pendulum Scales effect is exactly the same, but instead of adding a level 1 spellcaster, you add a Pendulum monster, and we have 15 Pendulum monsters in the deck. We are so easily going to search out anything. Harmonizing for Borrowed Savage, Jackal if you want a monster negate, go into I think Serefu of the Yangzing if you want 2 Omni negates. It's absolutely broken. Jackal King, guys, because should your opponent activate a monster effect, move 2 spell counters from the field, negate and destroy it. So it's basically like the monster version of Endymion. The reason why I'm running 1 is because the ratio was just right. I didn't want more than 1 because it is sendable off the Souls, so it's easy to get into the graveyard, and that's particularly the only reason why I wanted to run it. We have got Performer Power Celestial Magician and Purple Poison Magician. Both are searchable of Harmonizing, both are searchable of Pendulum Call. So Celestial Magician is a scale 8 and Purple Poison is a scale 1, that's why I chose them, and they also work really great in this deck. So Celestial Magician, during the end phase of the turn it's normal spell summoned, you can add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Again, searching out, you can add that Jackal King or like that Mighty Master, because Celine can special summon it during your opponent's turn for a normal negate. Then you've got Purple Poison Magician, which actually does really great in this deck because it can give Endymion or like Jackal King 1200 more attack points, and on top of that, if this card is destroyed, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it. So through its own Pendulum effect, it destroys itself, giving your monster more attack points. And then because it was destroyed due to its own effect, you destroy 1 card on the field. So that's really great as well. And then we've got Stellar Knight Zefra Fombon, or I believe it's called. I can't pronounce this card's name. If it's normal, special, or flip summoned, you get to target one other Zefra card in play and one card your opponent controls, destroy them both. So this can also proc like just some great like interruptions during your to like screw your opponent. Son of Endymion, really great. It's searchable with spell power mastery. You're not her monster effect. I don't really go into it much. I really go into a pendulum effect, which is each time a spell card is activated, she gains a counter. You remove 3 spell counters from Servant, and then you get to special summon a pendulum monster with 1,000 more attack points, which is basically Endymion or Jackal. So that's really powerful because she's basically a free monster or free spell negate, whatever you need. And then she puts a counter on herself and the monster you summon, which means Endymion and Jackal King's effects are immediately live the second they hit the field due to Servant. Now, I'm using a little bit of Zefra engine, like I'm kind of saying. We've got Zefra, which basically you never summon this guy. The only reason you search him out is because he can adjust his pendulum scale. You can send a Zefra monster from your deck to the extra deck, and then he changes his scale to that monster. So if I sent Secret of the Yangzing, his scale is going to become 7. But if I sent the Stellar Knight monster, it becomes a scale 1. So say I had him and Purple Poison. You'd send the Secret of the Yangzing because it's scale 7, then you can do a very good pendulum scale. Or say you've got Endymion in this guy. You can just send the Stellar Knight to the grave, so then you can go into Endymion and Jackal King. You see what I mean, guys? That's the reason why you use this guy, to adjust the pen scale in case you need it. And if you do send this guy, you can just pop him to have a free disruption during for your opponent. And then Secret of the Yangzing, I can't pronounce its full name, things like Zefra New or whatever, something like that. If this card is pendulum summoned, or when it's destroyed by battle by a card effect, you get to search a Yangzing or Zefra spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So upon being summoned, it searches out an Omni Negate, which is going to be 9 Pillars or Zefra Divine Stride, depending on what you need in play. So, and then if you did the Divine Strike, the 9 Pillars way, you can destroy this card for an Omni Negate, and then he destroys himself, and then he searches out Divine Strike. So you can search out 2 negates from just one monster. It's so powerful. And that's it for the monsters, guys. I'm kind of going through it quick just because they're very just bog standard and it's really fun. Spells, we're running 2 copies of Duelist Alliance. This card can search out Pen Call, and even if you don't have a pendulum scale but your opponent does, you can still activate this card, because as long as one card is in the pen scale, you can activate this card. I would like to highly stress out, a lot of these cards have like once per turn on them, so like I say, they're just instant fodder for either the pen call or for souls to pitch off, so they're never really dead in your hand. 3 copies of Instant Fusion, because it can summon Millennium Eyes, and it can summon out 1,000 dice from the extra deck. Millennium Eyes if you want to stop like hand traps and stuff like that, or 1,000 dice if you want to like be more aggressive and steal your opponent's monsters. That's why you're running them both. Magician's Right Hand, because it is a spell negate. This card can only activate if you control a spellcaster monster, so Endymion, Jackal, Selene, or them lot. They're all spellcasters. And I want to highly stress out, Magician's Right Hand can stop super polymerization. You might not think that's bonkers, but it is true. It can stop super poly from triggering. 2 copies of Oracle of Zefra. This card, upon being activated, instantly adds a Zefra monster from your deck to your hand. So if you've already got like a decent pen scale and you don't want to do that as Zefra, you can just go and search out the Yangzing monster, because then you can just pendulum summon it like you normally would, and then you get a pen scale out of it. Really, so then you get an Omnigate out of it. Really great. And then normally I send it to the graveyard afterwards for the souls to draw an extra card, or I just tend to leave it on the field because it's great fodder for Mighty Master, or it's great fodder for Selene to get more counters. 1 copy of Pendulum Core, because again we are running the harmonizing play for the Borrowload Savage. You just basically adds harmonizing and another magician, so Celestial or Purple Poison to your hand. Can fix your scale in your hand if you need to, or if you've already got the scales in hand, you can just go aggressive and just go straight for the pendulum summons. We've got 3 copies of Spell Mighty Mastery. You can add in Servant of Endymion or Mighty Master directly to your hand. Really great. It's the reason why you do it. And it adds another spell counter on your card. So it kind of acts as like 2 spells with just 1 activation. Really great. Spellbooks, we're running 2 knowledge and 2 secrets, because like I say, secrets can search out any spellbook, so it can search out the monster and it can search out knowledge. And so what I like to do is, like, say if you get secrets in your opening hand, you play secrets to search out the prophecy. Prophecy searches out the knowledge. Then knowledge just sends the prophecy to the grave, draw 2 cards. You've played 2 spells. 2 spells are in the graveyard for Celine. You've thinned your deck out by like 4 cards. It is really, really great. Then we've got 2 copies of Zefra Providence. This card lets you add any Zefra card from your deck to your hand, so you can search the traps, spells, and monsters. So what I like to do is, if I'm building up spell counters like on Magical Abductor or Servant of Endymion, I'd place Zefra Providence, play Oracle of Zephyr, and then Oracle of Zephyr can let you add the card from your hand. So that's 2 spells you've activated in the form of in front of Servant or Magical Abductor. So that's 2 counters. Or if you've already like got the counters and you don't need that, you could just search out Divine Strike straight away for that Omnigate if you don't need to search anything decent. So that's really, really great. The traps, guys, like I say, I'm running 9 Pillars of the Yangzing and Zefra Divine Strike. Both of these are Omni-Negates, and both of them are searchable off the Yangzing Zefra monster. So again, like I say, with this, if you control a Yangzing monster, which you would do with the Zefra monster, you can negate the activation and destroy your Yangzing card, which will then proc his other ability to search Zefra Divine Strike, which would, if you have a Zefra in your extra deck, banish it to negate your opponent's spell, trap, or monster. So, say you had both of these set, the 2 negates, because they're both alive at the same time, because you just do 9 pillars, tribute your monster, negate, your opponent does anything else, okay, that monster I've distributed, banish it, and negate another card. Really powerful, really great, guys. The extra deck, guys, I am running Millennium Ice Restrict. This guy can stop hand traps, because should your opponent like activate a monster effect, you can then take control of one monster they control that's in the grave or in the or on the field, and then if you do, that monster that had the same name is negated. So say your opponent activated Ash Blossom, you then play Millennium Ice Restrict. You can steal the Ash Blossom, and then because you stole Ash Blossom, Ash Blossom's effect is negated. So that's what I mean. It can stop hand traps. Really great. Vortex, because it's another Omnigate that you cheese out with Absolute. Again, here's an Omnigate, so your opponent activate a spell, trap, or monster effect. You can shuffle one. You can shuffle one face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck back into the deck and negate. So again, you have another Omnigate on top of everything else that we're already doing. We've got Thousand Eyes Restrict because you can, as I say, you can steal one monster your opponent controls. It's great for like using up their negates, because if not, they lose a monster. And I want to know, any monster, no other monster can attack other than Thousand Eyes. So you can, if you want to, you can use Thousand Eyes, then use Celine to resurrect Thousand Eyes during your opponent's turn, and then that locks them out of the battle phase as long as Thousand Eyes is in play. We've got Borrowload Savage, because I say I'm doing this with the Harmonizing Magician play. This again is another Omnigate, because you always go into Crawley or Masquerena before you go into Celine, depending on what you have on the field. So this card will always have 2 Borrow counters, which means you will always be able to negate 2 cards on the field. We've got Absolute Dragon, which you would use both of the use 2 Endymions to go into, and then you would basically link Absolute Dragon off to go into Celine or whatever. Then because it goes from the field to the grave, you get Special Summon Vortex from the extra deck. So that's how you do Absolute. And then Celine just resurrects the 2 Mani Masters. So then it's like, right, I've just basically used 2 spell negates to have 2 spell negates and an on-negate just because of Absolute. Really broken. Appaloosa, guys, because we can go into Appaloosa during your opponent's turn because 5p Masquerena. Appaloosa is more monster negates. So if you use 3 monsters, she's 3 monster negates, which can all activate in the same turn. So you see what I mean, guys? So say your opponent's got say you play Jack King's ability to negate opponent's monster. You think, right, this is a very monster-heavy deck. Screw it, I'm just going to go into Masquerena. Screw it, I'm going to use Masquerena to go into Appaloosa. More monster negates. Really have a nice day. Bowl of Sword to help us with OTK plays. Should your opponent, like I say, it can attack into opponent's monster. It gains half that monster attack and they lose half the attack. And then it can attack twice if you swap a monster from attack to defense mode. Bowl of Sword's just there to end that games because we don't have access. We don't have access to Access Code Talker. Crawler, because we get to reveal 3 spell books from our deck with different name. Then you get to add one of them to your hand. Just realistically, you'd want secrets or prophecy. Yes, you have a 2 or 3 chance to not get knowledge. But if you do end up getting the knowledge of Crawler, you just have to suck it up and try to adjust your strategy accordingly. We've got Daybreaker, so upon being link summoned, it gains a counter, and if you summoned a spellcaster next to its zone, it gains another counter. Then you can remove 2 counters from this card to destroy 1 card on the field. Really powerful. IP Masquerena, because say you can link summon during your opponent's turn with this, you can go into Appaloosa for more monster negates if you want, or you can go into Unicorn. So with Unicorn you can pitch 1 card in your hand to target 1 card in the field, bounce it back into the deck. Nice interruption for during your opponent. We've got Relinquished Anima, because you can use this with any of the Thousand Eyes, Millennium Eyes, Conflict, or Magician Souls. Target 1, then if Anima is pointing to a monster, it gets to steal that monster, and it's just really great. Because it's basically, if you have that and Thousand Eyes, you could like steal 2 monsters if they're in the correct the correct zones. Really great. Yeah, really great. Then 3 copies of Selene. She's just absolutely fantastic. Upon being link summoned, she gains counters for each spell on the field and in the graveyard. So this is really great to summon out Mani Master, and also if Selene is and also I should say if Endymion is on the field or in the Pendulum scale, your opponent cannot target Selene with attacks. So it's really great. And also she's a Monster Reborn, because you can move 3 spell counters from anywhere in play. Special summon a spellcaster from your hand or graveyard. So you can special summon out the Endymion that you use to go into Absolute. You can resurrect that Millennium Eyes for Monster Negate. Oh look, your opponent's going to go into the battle phase. Summon out Thousand Eyes from the graveyard to stop your opponent from attacking you this turn. Really great. That's what the deck's all about. And that's it for the deck, guys. I do hope you enjoy. It is a really fun deck. I do hope you enjoy this. And I just want to say, Pen best deck. Let's go. Okay, guys. Guys, time for some replays. I would like high stress out. I had to speed this up kind of quick because the opponent was slow playing like mad. We decided to set Magical Abductor in the Pendulum scale. Really great. I played Zefra Providence because we get to add Oracle of Zefra directly to our hand. Oh, we get to add any Zefra card, but I'm going to add Oracle of Zefra to build up them counters on our Magical Abductor. But because he didn't Ash Blossom the Zefra Providence, I fired off Spellbook of Mastery, trying to get Endymion. And also, this gets 2 counters on the Magical Abductor, so now we can search out a Pendulum monster of Magical Abductor. I decided to search that Harmonizing Magician because I wanted to go for the Borrowload Savage, because we already have Oracle of Zefra to search these Yangzing Omnigate, so we don't need to do anything like. So now we already have an Omnigate on board. I tried to go for like Borrowload Savage with a Harmonizing. We decided to pitch Jackal King off of Souls because we already have an Endymion on board. So we can. So this is for Monster Negate next turn. We special summon Souls, get rid of Oracle of Zefra because it's already served its purpose. I want to draw another card. It might do something decent. I then play Spellbook of Knowledge to get rid of Souls to draw 2 more cards because I want to like maybe get like some better cards. And then we pen summon all 4 of our monsters we have in play. Since Harmonizing was Pendulum summoned, we get special summon Celestial Magician from our deck. And then because the Yangzing was Pendulum summoned, we get to add 9 Pillars, which is an Omnigate. In this instance, guys, I could have still gone into Borrowload Savage because I could have just linked Celestial and Purple Poison off to go into Crawley and still do my play I was going to do, and then just use Harmonizing and this level 4 Stellar Knight to go into Borrowload Savage. I kind of forgot this card was level 4, so I didn't go into Borrowload Savage. I decided like a numpty to link Harmonizing Magician off. So yeah, this was a misplay. I couldn't go into Borrowload Savage because of this, but sometimes you just have to live with what you did. So I linked. So I want to go to Crawley because I want to search out more of my deck, and I decided to use Harmonizing like I said because I'm a dum-dum. The timer was clicking, so I decided to just go for it. Crawley lets us search out one of the 3 cards. We do get lucky and get Prophecy. Then because we have Prophecy, we can search out Secrets. Secrets can then search out the other Prophecy for next turn. So we've already settled for the next turn. We can already get guaranteed to draw 2 cards next turn. And again, like I say, we're going to keep like milling through the deck. You see how like we started off with 43 cards, we're now on 28. We just keep milling through the deck. So what this deck's it's what Pendulum is all about. But like I am, I decided to say I did a misplay here, guys. I should have played secrets before I went to Selene. Should have had an extra counter. I didn't do that because I'm a dum-dum. So what I'm going to do now is set Oracle of Zefra, because you can't activate twice in turn. But if you play Endymion's Pendulum ability, it has to destroy at least one monster or one card. So I set Oracle of Zefra, destroy the Oracle, because then I can keep my board, I can summon out Endymion for free. That's the reason why I did this. So again, set Oracle of Zefra. Now we're going to remove 6 counters from play. I purposely left Magical Abductor with 1 counter and removed the rest from Selene, because I can summon out Mighty Master from this, but then Mighty Master can bounce Magical Abductor, so I can keep Selene on board if I need to if I need to negate a spell or trap. So summon out this, we destroy that monster, we then use Selene's ability to resurrect Jackal King, and then we're going to go into Masquerena, because I was like, right, now we have 3 negates, spell, negate, and a monster. But now I was like, right, even if I use Jackal King's ability to negate a monster, or like using Endymion's ability to negate, to like remove a counter, get rid of a monster, get rid of a spell, I can just go Masquerena, go into Appaloosa, have 3 more monster negates on board. That was my plan. So we set this. There we go, boys. Our opponent is now just going to basically going to play Cauldron of the Old Man. So then he thinks I'm going to negate this, which I'm not, because it doesn't do anything to me. Playing Cauldron of the Old Man makes me think this is a Mystic Mind deck. Then he plays Barrier Statue, which just confirms it's a freaking Barrier Statue deck. Because he can't do anything apart from attack over Masquerena, he has to do that. But because he's got Inferno and I don't have a fire attribute monster, I can't go into I can't use Masquerena to link summon, which is kind of bad. So, like, once again, now I'm going to play the Prophecy. Prophecy is going to add secrets. Secrets adds knowledge. Then we just tribute our Prophecy, draw 2 cards. Because we have because he has that Inferno, I can't go into Endymion or link summon off for or link or pendulum summon off with anything. So I'm forced to just attack into here. But that doesn't mean I can't set up. So what I'm doing is just going to keep searching out the Endymion cards I need, and then we just go into battle. Again, like I say, I can't defeat him this turn. But now that that's out of the way, we remove the 6 counters from Jackal because it doesn't need 10 counters. Then we're going to destroy both his spell or trap cards. Summon out the Mighty Master, and then we're going to go into Absolute with the two Mighty Masters. Special summon out the Gesticon for it. Link all 3 away to go into Selene. So Selene just for even more power. Because now Absolute Dragon hit the graveyard, we get to summon out a Vortex Dragon from the extra deck. Selene's going to get 12 counters, which is mad. Then Selene's just going to resurrect the Mighty Master from the graveyard that we used for the Xyz summon. Then second, he goes into his main phase. We then get to resurrect the other Endymion. So you see what I mean, guys? We now have 2 Omni Negates, a Monster Negate, and 2 Spell and Trap Negates. There's nothing he can do that can beat us. But this is what I mean, where the opponent is just going to slow play. Like, he's just going to keep slow playing, just going to keep go. Not going to do anything. He's going to wait for the full time of the countdown. So he still hasn't done anything. Then he finally passes on the third minute. We did draw Magician's Right Hand. This, if I decide to play it, would be another spell negate on top of my board. But because I don't like the flags, I just swap my monster to attack mode and attack into his monster. His UFO Turtle, which now, again, he's just going to slow play and wait till the timer runs out. Then he surrenders. But that was our board, guys. Absolutely incredible. And it is just really, really great. So now we're against Mike. We're going first again. Once again, we've got Magical Abductor. It was really, really powerful. This is going to be a fantastic hand. So now what we decide to do is set Magical Abductor in the Pendulum Scale. Play Duelist Alliance because there's a card in the Pendulum Scale. This lets us instantly search out Pendulum Call. And also adds another counter for Magical Abductor. We now play Zefra Providence because that lets us add Oracle of Zefra. Play Oracle of Zefra, which lets us add out as our Yangzing monster yet again. Yet again, this is building counters for that Magical Abductor. Because we've got 3 counters, I decided to search out the Yangzing directly and go into the Mighty Master. Set the Mighty Master, we're going to mill our deck out even more by sending the Jackal King, get rid of the Oracle of Zefra because it's already served its purpose, get to draw an extra card. We draw another Souls, so now I pitch the Souls. I don't want to summon it twice, I want to use my normal summon for Prophecy here. I don't want to waste it on Souls. So what I decided to do is play Pendulum Call to ditch the Souls. We don't need it no more. So now I'm going to ditch the Souls because we can't even Pendulum Summon with Souls because it's level 1. We're going to ditch the Souls and then we're going to add Harmonizing and Celestial Magician off this. And then, because I was about to Pen Summon for 4, but then I wouldn't be able to use Harmonizing Magician's effect. So what I decided to do here is not respect Nibiru, and I'm going to Link Summon into Relinquished Anima before I Pendulum Summon. Because if I Pendulum Summon, I'm going to get 5 more monsters on the field straight away because of Harmonizing's effect. So, look at this for a board, guys. And then, Harmonizing lets us search out a monster. Yangzing lets us add another Omnigate on board. Then we played Celestial Magician's ability. So during the end phase, we get any Pendulum monster from our deck to our hand. So now we're going to go into Crawley. Hoping, again, we've got 2 and 3 chances to not get Knowledge. And we get Knowledge because I'm bad at this game. So what I decide to do is use Crawley and Purple Poison to go into Celine. She doesn't have all the counters that I would like, but sometimes you just have to kind of adjust to it. I then go into Borrowload Savage for 2 negates. And then I use Celine's ability to resurrect souls so I can fire off that knowledge and draw 2 cards. Because I'm thinking those 2 cards was key here. I still haven't used my normal summon, by the way, guys. And I haven't played Spell Power Mastery. And I drew Zephyr Divine Strike. So we have 2 negates in the traps on top of Savage. So now I get to add Endymion to hand. And then I get to place some more counters on my monsters. I set 2 cards. And simply end my turn. That's all I can do, guys. So we have 3 negates in this. Second he draws, so during the main phase, I then get to summon out a monster negate or a spell negate. He tries to play Dark Ruler no more, which if I didn't have a spell or trap, I couldn't negate Dark Ruler. So because we have a trap, we can negate Dark Ruler to save Borrowload Savage. So we do the 9 pillars, destroying our monster and negating his Dark Ruler. This lets us play the Zefra's ability to search any Zefra card from our deck to our hand. I decided to go for a Providence for more counters. So this makes me think Mike's playing a go second deck if he's playing Dark Ruler. So now I'm going to play Celine's ability to try and summon out either Jackal or Endymion. I'm even deciding with chat, should I go for a monster or spell negate? Chat's saying Jackal, and he decides to call by the grave the Jackal, which actually makes my life easier because now I don't need to worry about the Jackal. I just go straight into the Endymion. So now we still have a spell and trap negate. Then he plays Prism. So now because we've got Endymion in play, I can negate that Prism for free. On top of having our trap card and on top of having Savage. We then decide to just bounce back the Magical Abductor to hand. We don't need it. We once again reset Magical Abductor in the Pendulum Scale. I then gonna play Prophecy. Prophecy adds knowledge, or adds secret. Secret adds knowledge, building up these counters again. I draw 2 more cards, and then I deciding what to do here. I actually, upon being like weird, I decided to just go for like a Pendulum Scale or Pendulum Summon, summoning like a fuck ton of monsters, and then just go for the attack. Because we still have 4 negates on board still, so I don't need to worry about his 2 set cards. But I didn't think I had damage. All I had to do was just summon out that Mighty Master, which I didn't. Which I decided, now let's just pen summon and then just attack for game. So, you see what I mean, guys? It's just Matter just keeps Pendulum summoning and that's it. But this time we're going to go second, Mike's going to go first. It was the best out of 2. Mike's going to go first and actually sets up a decent board to say Unchained is going first. So, Unchained likes to go second for the OTK, but after seeing that, he wants to go first to stop me from setting up that fantastic board. So you're going to see what we do to basically stop this. So now, he has that link monster, so if I try to special summon any monster, he can just link off with it, which is kind of annoying. But we have Instant Fusion, boys. Watch this. With Instant Fusion, we can summon out Millennium Eyes Restrict. Millennium Eyes Restrict, if my opponent activates a monster effect from the hand or grave, activates a monster hand, monster effect, I can negate and steal his link monster. Really great. So we're going to search Servant of Endymion off of Mighty Master. We're then going to set Mighty Master, play Instant Fusion, summon out Millennium Eyes. Now that one Millennium Eyes is stopping our opponent from playing his ability to link summon, because if he does, I say, we'll just steal it and then have a nice day. We play Oracle of Zefra. This is going to let us add Zefra, because we haven't really got a decent Pendulum scale, and he's going to fix that. Because we get to add, obviously, more monsters. It gets to add the Yang Zing monster for Omnigate in case we don't OTK Mike. So now we get more counters from the Endymion. We can play Servant of Endymion's ability, but then that would make Servant of Endymion leave the Pendulum scale, and I don't want that. I want to Pendulum scale first, then play Servant of Endymion, because then we get more monsters on top of our Pendulum summon. So now we get to Pendulum summon for 3 monsters. Summon out these 3. Now we get to search a monster with we'll get to search a Zefra card with our Yang Zing. Then, because we played the Stellar Knight one, I can pop my Pendulum scale and pop one card he controls. I don't need no more. I've already pen summoned. I'm going to break my own scale with Servant of Endymion. So I decide to pop my own scale and destroy his monster, weakening his board even more. I decide to search Zefra Divine Strike or Zefra Providence, then go into Zefra Divine Strike. We don't need the because we can't use the 9 pillars because we're going to link off the Yang Zing. So we might as well keep an Omnigate with Divine Strike. And then I summon out my 4th monster and go into Bowl Savage. Or Bowl Sword Dragon. Then we play Son of Endymion, summon itself and the Mighty Master from the deck. He's going to try and play the Unchained Soul of Rage. This obviously eats the Millennium Eyes Restrict to negate his monster and steal it. Summon out the Mighty Master, summon out the Servant, then Bowl Sword swaps my own monster to defense mode, and then we just attack the game. Really, really great, guys. That's what it's all about. And we still had an Omnigate in hand in case we didn't OTK. That's what it's all about. Moving on, guys. We have against this guy. Look at this for a hand, guys. Secret, knowledge, and spell power mastery. I decided to just play the mastery. Yes, we can't add a spell counter on it, but doing this, you actually use up less use up less cards than you would otherwise. If I did spell book secrets and all that lot, and then if I managed to play mastery, I wouldn't generate as many spell counters. So again, we're gonna search Servant, play secrets. Spell book of Prophecy is going to search another secrets because I can play knowledge to send secrets from my hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. That's 3 spells in the graveyard. 2 counters is on Servant of Endymion, and we get to keep our monster, and we get to draw 2 cards for free. I decide to play my other Zefra monster. That's 3 counters on Servant of Endymion. We send the Yang Zing to the graveyard. Play Oracle of Zefra to get the other Yang Zing monster. Decide to Pendulum summon both of them. Sadly, their effects are once per turn though. So I go to Zefra Providence, another spell to get the Zefra Divine Strike. Play Magician's Right Hand for another interruption. Decide to link summon all 3 to go into Selene. Selene's going to generate 9 counters. Then I was going to remove the 9 counters to I was going to remove the counters of Servant to go into Endymion. So then we have a spell and a monster negate. A spell and an Omnigate. But unfortunately, our opponent saw the writing on the wall and left. So in this hand, what I decided to do is play Instant Fusion, Millennium Eyes to stop any hand traps my opponent tries to do. Play Zefra Providence, go in Oracle of Zefra, milling out my deck even more. Oracle of Zefra lets me get Zefra, which I set in the Pendulum scale, which then lets me play Duelist Alliance. Duelist Alliance is going to let me instantly get Pendulum cards from my deck to my hand. I pitch off Jackal to summon out Souls. Souls is going to pitch Oracle of Zefra to draw an extra card. Because I've already played Zefra Providence, I don't need to worry about doing I don't need to again. I've got a free mill for my Pendulum goal. We add Harmonizing, and I'm going to add Purple Poison. The reason I'm adding Purple Poison is because I can send the Yang Zing monster from my deck to the grave for Zefra to become a scale 7. Then I can go into a scale 1 with Purple Poison, and I can go into the Yang Zing monster for free for a free Omnigate, and go into Borrow Load Savage of Harmonizing. So really, really great. So that's what we decided to do, guys. Summon out just to come for it. Still haven't used my normal summon here, by the way. We're going to go into Crawley, because I'm going to go into Borrow Load Savage. So we're going to get 2 counters for the Crawley. And we do get Prophecy. I normal summon out Prophecy. Get out Secrets, because I haven't played Secrets yet. I get Knowledge. This is generating counters for Celine. I then go into Celine now. Get all those juicy counters. I remove 3 counters, go into Jackal. I decided to do this is because now I'm going to fire off Knowledge to send Millennium Eyes Restrict. The reason I did it this way is because if I played off Knowledge and sacrificed Millennium Eyes, he would be able to use Ash Blossom to negate me. Doing it this way, he now can't Ash Blossom me even if he has it in hand. So now we draw 2 cards and we do the Mighty Master. So now we get to Pendulum Summon for 7. Summon out the Yang Zing, summon out Harmonizing. Now we get summon out a monster of summon out this, and we get our 9 pillars of the Yang Zing, and then our opponent scoops, which I was going to go into Borrow Load Savage for negate. We had a Jackal King for monster negate, and we had this set trap card as well. Now this is a Pendulum matchup against Kaiser. We actually got very unlucky with this hand, and this is very, very unlucky. I decided to go into 2 Crawley, decided to go to 2 just to come first, going to Crawley. I had a 2 in 3 chance to get Prophecy, and you know me, I didn't get Prophecy because my luck is horrendous. And then I play Knowledge, and then I draw the Prophecy and the Spell Books. The 2 cards I wanted off the Crawley, I drew off the Knowledge. Rip me, boys. This was not my duel. Then, yeah, I saw the Ride on the Roll. I played the Knowledge. Oh, so I played Secrets to add Knowledge. Played the Prophecy to add Secrets. The next turn, I've still got draw plays. I decided to play Zefra Providence to add the Omnigate, going to Zefra. Yeah, I do add Zefra to hand. I set them both in this Pendulum Scale with a Mighty Master. I'm going to set the Yang Zing, and then I set 1 card and pass. I could have actually pen summoned that, actually, thinking of this. If I set the Yang Zing, no, I couldn't have set. No, because I set the Yang Zing, I couldn't have. I couldn't. I decided to set the Yang, so I couldn't actually have pen summoned. I decided I had only 1 negate, and my opponent is playing the Pendulum deck, and he played Pendulum Call. Pendulum Call was the best card to hit because he would have had 2 monsters off it, and he had to pitch a card for free as well to play it. So I stopped him from playing the Pendulum Call, and that's actually wrecked his hand completely. He plays Pendulum Dragon and the Dragon Berserker. He plays Spiral Flame Strike, and then decides to pass for some reason. Really weird. But yeah, so you see how you can get unlucky with this deck, but mainly you never get that unlucky, but sometimes you can, so you just have to live with it. But that's it for the deck, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. Take care, and goodbye.